Hello and thanks for joining us on RTV News. I am Isabel Masozera, and as you can see, I'm not alone today. We have a guest anchor, and that is...
My name is Fabrice. Thank you, Isabel.
It's good to have you here.
It's my pleasure to be here with you.
All right. This is RTV News. Thanks for joining us wherever it is that you are watching from. Now, top of our edition, the chairman of RPF Inkotanyi Party, His Excellency Paul Kagame, has warned leaders and everyone else against engaging in corrupt practices, saying that those who are doing so should change before it is too late. The head of state made the remarks on Friday at the start of the party's two-day bureau politique meeting. Salji Nore begins this edition.
The more than 2,000 RPF Inkotanyi members gathered at the party's headquarters for the meeting, and also invited were government officials, the leaders of other parties, part of the country's National Consultative Forum of Political Organizations, and religious leaders.
RPF
because the fact is that others too want the country to get to the same destination that the RPF wants. Our differences may lie in the way we get to that destination, which is fine because everyone has their own way of seeing things. Regardless, when we speak of national security, are there any official policies and politics geared towards promoting insecurity? When we talk of fighting things like corruption, is there a political party with a manifesto that promotes corruption? Is there even one? That means that we are united in our objectives. The differences lie only in the chosen method of achieving those objectives, different policies that do not necessarily have to be uniform with those of the RPF. Still, the destination is the same. The RPF Inkotanyi chairman also noted on the difficulties the country has had to endure over the years, not forgetting more recent and current global challenges like the COVID-19 pandemic and the effects of the war in Ukraine, stressing that these are among the reasons there can be no room for complacency and ignorant arrogance among leaders. Those who waste resources, are careless or simply waste time doing nothing. Leaders who go about puffed up with pride and then proceed to let their pride become a burden on the shoulders of the very people they are supposed to serve. You go to different institutions and just stroll past queues of people who have been waiting all day with your head held high and expect to be served. Those are practices of the past. We hold meetings and people agree on how things are to be done, even give constructive ideas. But the moment they leave, it is almost as if nothing happened. It is as if we do not know how we are supposed to do things. Mind you, this is not doing things properly just to please someone, because our country and the problems I mentioned demand that we do things the proper way for them to be resolved. The head of state warned leaders against engaging in corruption, most especially young people in positions to make a difference. Now even young leaders are doing such things. I want to tell the young people gathered here that you should know that we expect a lot from you. You are not only the country's strength of the future, but of the present as well. How do you allow yourselves to engage in such shameful acts? Why not come to us instead so that those in need of assistance can get it? When you do such things while in a leadership position, more than just the crime you committed is damaging in nature, because you have also just flung aside the trust the Rwandan society put in you. How could you do that? It's more than about the money you stole. What happened to the trust that should go with leadership? I speak to some of you one-on-one and urge you to change your ways before it is too late on numerous occasions. What could you possibly hope to gain by continuing on such a path? The RPF Inkotanyi Bureau Politique meeting will last for 2 days.
President Paul Kagame there calling for accountable leadership and profound words we can all employ within our own lives. Now, moving on, migration officials believe that improved development policies will help migrants to be better perceived more as solution providers than a burden. We go to Adam Kwizera for more.
Problem of migration is felt in various regions of the world. Even there are some governments that prohibit it. Anja Martins, acting senior cultural officer at African Union Commission, believes that member countries' attitudes about immigration should change.
The opportunities are many. For instance, they support wherever they go. We call it brain drain, but they support the other countries in various areas. Like many of these migrants have different areas that they were working on in their countries of origin. So by migrating, they also support the countries where they are going to. But we need to really implement the policies that the African Union develops in order to support migrants and in their quest to assist others also and for better life.
War, poverty, and unemployment are some of the most common reasons for the moving from one country to another. Only that nowadays there is also the problem of climate change that causes problems such as floods and droughts, hence forcing people to abandon their homes and relocate to the other areas. Antonio Vitorino, the Director General of the International Organization for Migration, believes that a meeting on climate change scheduled to be held in Egypt next month will provide a solution to all these problems.
There are two critical issues for COP27. First is for the international community to be aware that the impacts in the lives of people, making people move and suffer, are already happening now. Today, it's not something of the future. So raising the urgency to address. And secondly, the populations that are impacted by climate change need support, need technical support, but also need financial support to cope with this challenge. And we expect that a COP that is taking place in Africa, the Africa COP, COP27, will raise awareness of the international community and mobilize the necessary resources.
Wize Judith, the minister in the office of the President of the Republic of Rwanda, notes that countries that accept immigrants should not consider them as individuals who came to bring problems.
Hari ibihugu byinshi cyane bigifata ko kwimuka kw'abantu bava hamwe bajya ahandi bakumva ko ari ikibazo.
When there is a strategy in place to solve problems, solutions are born, and immigrants might bring different skills to the table that can be useful for the country, making them a solution rather than a problem.
Ku buryo biba igisubizo aho kuba ikibazo.
In the last 20 years, the number of immigrants in the world has increased from 15 million to 26 million, of which 80% are from African countries who have migrated to other continents. Rwanda has been assigned to lead the Pan-African Forum on Migration for the next 2 years. Representatives of African countries who participated in this forum were also urged to speak as one voice on policies that promote immigrants instead of being a burden on host countries. Adam Kwizera, RTV News.
Thank you, Adams. Now in more news, Child Protective Services point out that raising children in families is the best way to help them grow up protected from various challenges that arise from the absence of family values. Olive Wontete explains.
Chiritimana Pacific, aged 28, is preparing for marriage. He's pleased to have grown up despite the difficult childhood in the orphanage.
The life of the orphanage was hard. We were so lonely. We wondered what will happen in the future. We lived like that, but we made sure to perform in the class and with the hope of finding a family. Because at the orphanage, some children would find their families or foster families.
Since 2012, the government of Rwanda started a program of reintegrating children in families. Pacific also found a host family. He says that living in a family was a dream coming true.
Finding someone I call a sibling and who to call father or mother, it's something that pleases me.
Some parents who received children from various orphanages, they do their best to provide for the children. Yes, we face challenges since we are dealing with a child with new habits. This requires you to teach him, be patient, and try to associate his habits with yours. And we strive to show him the importance of studying and show him that studies will determine what will be his life in the future. Experts in child psychology states that children who do not get a chance to grow in a family find themselves confronted with multiple challenges that are difficult to overcome.
The child in institutional care loses their identity. They do not have any family they belong to, so that has a very detrimental impact on their psychological well-being. First, because they lack identity. They do not feel part of the community because of that isolation in a center. Their child abuse by peer children in institutional care, it is not easy to take care of, let's say, 500 kids in the same institution and provide both the physical, material support as well as psychological support. So the time allocated to the interaction of the child is limited because of the limited number of social workers. So, and the child needs that particular moment.
Mukamana Monique, acting director in charge of the Tuarere Mumuryango program at the National Child Development Agency, points out that despite the challenges that are still faced in accomplishing the program, the government of Rwanda continues to do everything possible to eradicate the problem. Various institutions and orphanages are closed, but we still find cases of parents who abandon children. But the government started the program of finding foster families for those children. When a child is abandoned, it is first reported to the local authorities, then taken to the hospital to assess his health, and then after that, we try to find his family. When the family is not found, we give the child for adoption. The government of Rwanda is stepping up an awareness campaign to ensure that all children find foster families. Since the launch of this program in 2012, more than 3,400 children have been integrated into families. Out of 39 orphanages in the country, only 4 remain open. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Olive, for that informative report. Now, on Friday, Rwanda Defense Force personnel graduated from a basic military course at the Basic Military Training Center after successfully completing 12 months of military training. The newly trained soldiers demonstrated to the RDF leadership the skills at arms and tactical drills required during the year-long military training. Now, the enrollment ceremony was presided over by the RDF Army Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Mubarak Muganga on behalf of the Chief Defense Staff General Jean Bosco Kazura. In his remarks, the Army Chief of Staff thanked the young soldiers for their good choice made to join the RDF family to protect the country and its people. He welcomed graduates and urged them to observe RDF values, including patriotism, discipline, and commitment. He reminded them that the success of the RDF has and will always be built on exceptional discipline. During this ceremony, different awards were presented to recognize the best performance during the 1 year of training. Moving on, Rwanda is going to launch the Center of Excellence for Sustainable Cooling and Cold Chain in the University of Rwanda that will help with the conservation of agricultural harvests, medicine, and vaccines. The center will help to solve the problem of agricultural produce going bad due to poor storage. Betty Mutoni with more.
It has often been heard in different parts of the country that people are facing the challenges of losses caused by the perishing of agriculture harvest because of lack of proper storage facilities. The machine that used to process the onions, used to boil them, turn into green as if they were put in water. On your onions, also after processing, instead of drying, they would come out rotten.
byumye ahubwo ukabona byaraboze.
Twifuza ko ikintu cya mbere nuko mwadukorera.
What we ask is to get advocacy to request the authorities to put pressure on the committee that caused all the losses.
Kuri komite yatumye bira bihombo byose biboneka.
In order to solve the issue of destruction of agriculture harvests, through the University of Rwanda, Rwanda is launching the African Center of Excellence for Sustainable Cooling and Cold Chain that will be responsible for conservation of agriculture vegetables, fruits, medicines and vaccines. Acting Principal of Agriculture Department in UR, Guillaume Nyagatare, noted that this center will be a solution to the farmers and source of knowledge to agriculture students at UR.
It will be knowledge on post-harvest processes that are climate friendly, which means that we'll be using renewable energy, avoiding as much as we can to use petroleum products that we know are contributing to global warming. But the research, we also have an aspect, beside the engineering aspect of it, it will be also a social aspect of it. Because remember, we'll be dealing with communities. And so there is an aspect of understanding the local communities that we're supposed to serve, understanding the gaps and hindrances to cooling and cold chain. But also there will be other aspects like how do we build synergies between this centre with other centres that we have in at UR, for instance.
The UK head of Green Growth and Trade and the donor of this centre, Robert Harry, noted that with collaboration with the government together with various agencies, this centre will succeed.
So there's really good alignment with everything. There's a lot of support, there's the technical expertise, and we've seen similar partnerships which the UK has been involved with the Rwandan Revenue Authority and our own His Majesty's Revenue and Customs in the UK, our statistics agency in the UK, the ONS, as well as the Rwandan International Institute for Statistics here. So these partnerships are really important. Beyond just funding, they're bringing together that technical expertise and the drive and vision that's really important for us to deliver together.
It is planned that equipment that will be used in this center will use solar energy in order to protect the environment. Researchers and investors from different countries in the world visited the offices of this center in Rubirizi in Kigali city, and they say that this center is promising in conservation of agriculture harvests and environmental protection. Betty Mutoni, RTV News.
You're still watching RTV News. Now, agricultural experts from around the world and local farmers alike have noted that environmentally friendly agricultural practices can help the world to mitigate and deal with the effects of climate change, something that the African continent desperately needs to do. We have more.
Such agricultural practices are being applied in the eastern province of Rwanda and have been yielding very good results. The sites we visited have not seen rain since the planting was done, yet you saw for yourselves how the crops are flourishing. The methods protect the nutrients in the soil, increase yields, and are able to deal with the challenges of climate change. Agricultural experts from around the world currently on a study tour here in Rwanda have also commended the environmentally friendly agricultural practices.
Even me, I have a garden at home in Canada, at my house. It's a small garden, not as big as this, but I use some of these same principles of soil cover and crop rotation and mulching.
As you can see, we are in the dry season, but the crops are moist. This is an important lesson I am going to take back with me to implement in my country, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Research done by the Rwanda Agriculture Board has found that maize cultivation methods that have adopted these environmentally friendly techniques can yield as much as 7.5 tons of maize cobs on a hectare of land compared to just 5 tons using more traditional methods.
Gospel artist, Rwandan gospel artist Fabrice Nzeyimana, who is not only here in the capacity of the gospel artist of the beautiful song you just witnessed, but also the Overflow Africa. It's a 3-day annual conference that convenes worship ministers across the continent, and they'll be convening for the first time physically. Well, you've heard about 2 of those conferences virtually because of the pandemic, right? And yes, we want to know all about it.
Yeah. So the Overflow Africa Worship Conference actually started in 2017, and it's only 2020 and 2021 that we were not able to meet physically. And briefly, the Overflow Africa Conference is about putting strength together as gospel artists on the African continent, but also being able to network and to share knowledge locally and regionally, and even on the side of the continent of Africa. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's why we do Overflow.
Why is that important? Because sort of the theme throughout all the content that I could find online, the unity, the using the platform to unify across the continent seems to be powerfully coming through. Why is that important?
I am a strong believer that there is strength in unity. And as somebody said, if you want to go fast, you go alone. And if you want to go far, you go with others. And I believe that the African continent can develop and can offer something much more, much bigger, and something of substance if we all come together as one. People in the West usually make a mistake thinking that Africa is a country, but I actually like that mistake. I would love to see Africans coming together and doing things together. So this event is going to take place at Christian Life Assembly. It's a church here in Nyarutarama. And we are having people from all over Africa coming. We have people from Zambia, people from Burundi, people from Kenya, from Uganda, from Ethiopia, and many more. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the conference has 2 components. The first part concerns artists and church leaders, and we do workshops that happen in the morning. So like on Friday we'll be having one in the morning from 7 to 11 a.m. Then on Saturday as well. So for those ones, you have to register on our website, which is overflowafrica.com.
Okay.
Register and be part of it. We do train people, we do trainings, we do.
So if I think I have some potential, I can also come. Speaking of potential, now that we know we can be part of that, I could not help but notice the song we just played.
Yeah, but sorry, in the evenings, it's open to everybody.
Okay.
So on Friday, 6 p.m. And Saturday from 4 p.m. and Sunday at 5 p.m. It's a huge concert and it's free.
Okay.
We don't make.
So it's not just the trainings. We can also have an experience.
Yes, there's an experience in the evening.
Like that.
Good music from all over Africa. So if you are watching us tonight and you want to really, really enjoy, just plan that weekend at Christian Life Assembly.
Okay. Well, like I was saying, I couldn't help but notice that you sing with your wife.
Yes.
And part of the experience when we come to the free concert, the free experience, will we be able to see some performances between you and your lovely wife? What should people expect? I mean, this is the first time you're having the physical event, so I can imagine the expectations are high. What would that look like?
Yeah, we'll be really, really glad to be back on stage after 2 years of virtual events. So what people should expect, we have many artists, first of all, coming, as I said. And we have many prominent artists. I don't know if I should mention some, but yes, my wife and I will be there. We'll be the host. We'll be the host of this event. But we have artists like Pompey. There's an artist called Pompey. And he is also coming with his wife. He got married, so he's coming with his wife. Those are from Zambia. We have Apollinaire Habonimana from Burundi, that many people know and like. We have an artist from Ethiopia called Mosi Fiseha coming with his senior pastor, and many more.
Wow.
We have local artists like Gabi Kamanzi,
Yes.
like Papi Clever and Dorcas, the Gisubizo Ministries.
Well, let's not tell them all of them. We need to leave the surprise element. But the thing I will not let you go away without doing, I'm looking at this beautiful guitar right here, and we need to do something with it as we come to the end of our bulletin. Can you play us something?
Maybe continue with the same.
Okay.
Akiri ndirimbo yanje, indirimbo y'urukundo, mwami simfisa majambo nuvuga, ingamuti mawanje wakire amashimwe.
Wow. Okay, I feel like we're just getting started and it's a Friday. We should just continue with this, but we have to say good night. Thank you so much for choosing RTV and RTV News.